Good morning.
Hi, hello everyone. Welcome to. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Some people are waving hands and typing pluses in chat.
This is how you build behaviors and good habits, right?
Yes. Yeah, this is how you build loyal audience. Thank you for being with us for the next 28 minutes or so. And today we're going to talk about how you work with marketing department in your company and a little bit about design and what design means in these days. Find the share screen button. All right. So marketing department and the e-learning department. I'd like to say that that they're similar, or that that there's animosity between them, but no, like the true war is happening like between the IT department typically and the e-learning, or maybe legal department sometimes, but marketing department typically is very, very separate from whatever you do. Although we think, and I think we've spoken about this, it's not it shouldn't be like that.
No,
it shouldn't. Right. So let's jump ahead. A couple of household items before we begin. First of all, this session is being recorded, and for the duration of the session, everyone is on mute. But please do use chat button, or if you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment. And if you want to find us on YouTube, just Google INTEA elearning, and you'll be fine. Every breakfast for the past 3 years, lots of years is recorded, so lots of useful content there, and we welcome you to go ahead and find something useful for you. Right. So design. We recently spoke about design, I think like maybe half a year ago, and I think the loud title was that the design is dead or something like that. And the idea was that you don't really have a lot of room for design in modern learning environment. All the stuff has been pre-designed for you. Your corporate guidelines kind of dictate what hasn't been designed for you, and what's left. And we were talking about, hey, focus on the content and do this and that, and don't waste time building interfaces where people have built way better interfaces than you or we ever could. So there is still one thing left which you can influence, and that's either photography or illustrations that you use in your courses, or the videos that you make for your courses. And we wanted to talk a little bit about that. First of all, it's why they should be good, right? That's question number one, because like, why should you care? And I think that today's learners, and again, we talked about this in the previous design session, they kind of expect some quality from you, right? If you're if you're making a website for the whole company, you expect to invest a lot of effort into this, and probably money as well. If you are making some internal communication posters today, it's also not all right to scribble something on an A4 paper, just put it on the elevator or something. It does not work. At the gym that I go to, they have like special out of order signs, really carefully designed. Like, they're still very annoying because your hair dryer is like, sorry, out of order. Like I'm taking. It says something. Sorry, I'm taking a break today. Something fun and cute, and it's really nicely designed, but it
really doesn't help.
It doesn't help because it's not working. So yeah, and yesterday there were 2 out of 4 broken. So I think the great morale here of the story is that if you are investing effort somewhere, invest them in something working first of all, yeah, and then into design. But once you decide to go to design and everything is working, let's go to this. So right, the question is, if you can't do a lot about design, but it still matters for you, then what can you do? And the photography, illustrations, things you find on the internet, things you take with a camera phone or you buy from a third-party company. That's where you actually can influence something. And we want to talk about that a little bit. Maybe it was a little bit inspired by a project that we did recently for a company headquartered in Tallinn, but it's a multinational, few thousand people around the world. And that is the crew that was required to film one guy, essentially. Let me just run you through real quick through what's happening here. So what we see here, well, there's a director, the guy in the hat, in the white hat, and he actually is responsible for the guy doing what's written in the script. There's the camera guy. There's a lights guy. You can't really see him, only his tattooed hand. Everyone had tattoos in that crew for some reason. There is the sound guy. You can see how bored he is on the left side. There is a makeup artist, and there's a stylist. She's not in the picture right now. There is a script supervisor, somebody who makes sure that everyone follows the script. There is the set supervisor, someone who makes sure that everything looks the way it should, also between shots, because it's a 4-shot day and you shoot the same thing on different days and so on. So you can't have anything like
those strange artifacts they sometimes see in movies. When
the level of water in the bottle changes between shots all the time, or as in one case, we had a guy who had this security card on his neck, and that card was jumping. No, not the sides. It was jumping like under his collar and over his collar all the time, and stuff like that. So there's also other people in there. There's a second camera. There is an assistant stylist, because we had, I think, 13 or 14 people in multiple outfits. So they all had to be styled, and there was a creative director, which was me, which took that photo. So.
This is what creative directors usually do. They take photos of their work.
It was like one of the boring things. So I just started walking around taking pics. So what we're trying to say here is to make something look good, look like really professional. You need a lot of people. This is not exactly a skeleton crew, but that is, I would say, minimum for a quality shot, and that costs a lot. That takes a lot of time to set up. Bringing everyone into the shoot, those 13 or 14 people, also took a lot of planning, and it's a lot of work that typically goes a little bit beyond the e-learning budget. Like this time, we or our client got lucky and got that opportunity, but it doesn't happen every time. However, for your marketing department, that kind of happens regularly, right? This is what they do. They do product shots, they do adverts, they do a lot of stuff where they actually spend money on producing quality content. And I think what we're trying to say is that you have to join them and see how you can kind of piggyback on that process. So join forces with them. And by the way, we're back to our little game of movie screens and TV screens in the background, and you can guess them in comments if you like. So join forces. You are doing the same job essentially in this case specifically, and it makes sense if you just come to them and say, hey, what's the next time you're doing a big photo shoot? I want to be part of that, and I have a few ideas, and we'll talk about what specific ideas you need to have in just a second. It doesn't have to be that cheerful as well. It can be something like that. No one needs to be happy about the process, but it depends on how you build those relationships. So thing number one, if you ask your marketing for pictures for your course, I don't know if you've had this example, we've had this a million times. You ask them, hey, do you have pictures of your employees, or do you have pictures of your customers? This is the stuff that they send to you. These are stock images, but companies that build internal stock photography, like everyone is super happy, and your courses are typically about problem solving. It's about, hey, here's an unhappy customer, try and help them. Hey, we got this request from a government regulator, what do you do about that? Well, there's a business case about this, or whatever challenge comes your
whistleblower course.
Whistleblowers, right?
Nobody's happy at that point.
This could, I wanted to say, like, ethics. This is one of our favorite topics, but this could work for ethics.
Yeah.
Because everyone's happy to get a bribe or something. So yeah, you can imagine, like, this guy in there is taking a bribe, and she has just approved an unlawful loan to him.
Yeah, she's from procurement, he's from legal. High five, we got the villa in Spain.
True.
Yeah.
Real story. So yes, that's what you get, and that does not work for e-learning most of the time. And sometimes you wish, like, hey guys, could you have taken just one extra shot with the guys being puzzled, for example, or not that happy at least, or something else. And that is what we're trying to help you do here. So to avoid this stuff, you need to come to your marketing and give them a scope of work, essentially, right? SOW, which lists which things they need to prepare for you. Of course, you will want more things that they can do for you, but it's a ground for negotiation. So what should you ask essentially from them? Well, first of all, you should ask for a range of characters. Typically in the marketing stuff, you see happy clients and people who service them. Right, but you probably want more different employees, right? What about someone from back office, right? What about someone from admin or IT or legal, or somebody who's
a big problem is blue collars sometimes.
Yes,
that the whole photo shoot is centered around the headquarters, or vice versa, around our logistics, I don't know, department or our production department, and then we don't have our office and office employees.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, if you're a pharmaceutical company, you will have a lot of people invite codes and stuff like that, but not a lot of like typical office personnel or logistics personnel. And if you're a retail chain, you will have a lot of happy salespeople or shop floor people in the shop on the retail space, but not a lot of people from the back office, for example, or logistics. Again, somehow those guys get overlooked. So yeah, think about that, what you might need. Think about the courses you might need. Customers, right? Again, marketing will often say, well, these are our happy customers. We're a bank, so our happy customers are where? Well, they're seniors on the beach enjoying their retirement. Or we are...
it's a family,
or it's a family.
Father, mother, dog, two
children.
They call
this
genders.
They call those mayonnaise commercials.
Right? Yeah, right.
So happy people in a kitchen having dinner, something like that. These are our customers, and we are a retail chain. But you don't have like real customer situations in there. So think about the actual customer situations. Then things that you will need but get overlooked are like service people, partners, guards. I once starred in an...
All right.
Yes, I once starred in one of our courses as the plumber who tries to sneak into the building without proper authorization. Or rather, I was the bad guy posing as plumber, trying to get into a bank without a card by what's tailgating somebody through a door, stuff like that. So think about that. What about, like, let's say a guard at the door? Then you need the range of emotions. Again, you're all set on the happy side of things. I'm pretty sure, but there is also the other side, the unhappy / angry people, frustrated,
puzzled.
Puzzle. Yes. Did you see this slide?
No.
So puzzled people trying to solve a task, maybe stressed or overwhelmed or something like that. It's more useful for the course than a happy person, because nobody is that happy at work, like 99% of the time, and people just get turned off when they see this kind of photography.
And our courses, if these are properly designed, then we're trying to solve problems. So usually these will not be super happy emotions, right?
Yeah.
So
maybe at the end.
Maybe at the end, yeah. But objection handling and happy customers, it's too expensive. It doesn't work, right?
Yeah, we can't afford this, like this one. We can't afford this house. Worried or scared, stuff like that. Think about it. The next range is the range of situations. Typically, it's the customer service situation, which we see in adverts and what marketing will try to procure, happening in this environment or like where we do work. But typically, you will need a few locations, desk, somebody just working on their job, especially if it's videos. It looks boring, but you might need this. People having a meeting, and again, not the stupid meeting from the 1990s stock.
Yeah, again, ecstatic faces and
everyone's sitting uncomfortably close around the camera or high-fiving four-way or something like that. A kitchen, like office kitchen, is often overlooked, but this is where a lot of stuff happens. And a few people just talking in a kitchen will serve as a great illustration for a lot of situations in the course. And things like lobby, corridors, whatever is the natural environment for you, and of course the production environments and so on and so on. And finally, a range of topics, right? Think about the courses that you're going to build and try to sit down with your marketing and talk to them that, hey, we're going to build next year, we're going to rebuild the safety course for the, let's say, physical security in the office. And we're also going to do an IT security course, and we're going to do this and that. So I'll probably need a few people in hard hats or holding an extinguisher or something like that. There is compliance, which is typically boring, but again, it's people solving puzzles. It's people trying to do sneaky stuff. It's situations in let's say talking on the phones and
again all the
solving problems,
all the unethical stuff, the bribing, the conflict of interest. So you might need specific shots to show
gray areas. So again, somebody is puzzled and so on. Products are often a problem. Surprisingly, you work with a company which produces, let's say it's like a chemical electrical machine. Think about like a big pressure washer or something like that. And they have a ton of the images, but it's hard to use them in e-learning because in e-learning, you want to explain principal parts, but the nice shots are all of that machine kind of placed somewhere. And the technical shots where you can actually show parts are very, very technical and kind of more like drawings of them and so on. So you really suddenly with like gigabytes of pictures, you struggle to find the one that you actually want. Then they produce a ton of 3D videos for explaining how stuff works and so on. But then again, you can't, for example, add text on it, and because it's been done in English once, but you need to this in local language. Now you can't localize and so on and so on. Or you don't get the source materials from the agency that was doing it for them and so on and so on. Tons of problem which could have been solved by one simple thing. You go to your marketing department before, or rather they should go to you when a product is created, and they should say, hey, we're building this new product, we're launching it, we're building a lot of materials for them, and probably we will need some training around that new product. So why don't we sit down and think what we can procure to you so that your training looks awesome? And that is a habit that you need to build in them by working closely to them. And that circles back to our breakfast about learning sitting at the same table as all the other C functions, like chief of marketing and chief of learning. They should work together, and you shouldn't be like, hey, we the big boys decided this thing and now we brought it to you and you deal with it. And yeah, by the way, we forgot about training at all when we were designing it. So yeah, we'll try and solve this problem. Same thing for processes, right? Even if it's a paper-based process or something like that. Right now, my favorite part is warning people about not to use stock photography because, in very simple terms, stock photography lies to you. And while it might look great to you, the people who are actually doing that job might find it really untruthful or hilarious, or simply wrong to a point of making a meme on Twitter or something like that. Well, first of all, everyone is overly handsome in there, and the other problem is again why you should work with marketing. It's because if you try to like grab a camera, go to your shop floor and do a few pictures for the course, they might be very, very true to what's happening, but they might be a little bit too truthful. So that's the problem. And the problem with stock photography that you don't do yourselves is huge. One of my favorite topics, and this is a bit of entertainment for you on Friday.
Oh yeah,
is this. So can you guess what's wrong? Anyone? I know Edmund knows. Right. So
no, yeah.
oh, there was a comment.
Yeah.
Right. So what's happening here is
hot. Right, Christina, I think it is. Yeah. It's you don't touch it there.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a well. Two things. If you want to be very technical, you don't solder anything on those things. They get ruined by soldering irons of that size and so on. But yes, she's holding the hot part of the soldering iron, and that picture became a meme. But it's not like it only happened once. I found another picture as well. And then I started Googling and I found another picture. And at some point I thought, well, maybe it's like a running joke among people who do stock photography, because I found another one then, and it's just ridiculous to anyone who ever held a soldering iron. And this is just an example of people who have no idea about what they're doing, because she's a model and he's a photographer, and they bought some equipment because the client said that should be that, and that's it. But it never stops, right? Like you can find literally like dozens of these images, and I'm not sure why people do it. Like they keep doing that. I'm telling you. So yeah, that's a problem, but that's not only about soldering irons. We've had a problem with medical photography, doctors, because our medical clients said that everyone complained about images because nurses have very long and manicured and painted nails, which they never have in real life. Or that the way that they carry some of the equipment is like you never hold it like that. And this is one of my favorite fail images, not from a real course. Can you guess what's wrong? We have time. We have time. We can do a little bit of guessing game.
Yeah.
Why would people in a production facility object?
Security glasses.
Security glasses is one thing.
Yeah.
Yes. But also that thing that is about to get drilled there is not secured. So glasses or not, that guy is gonna get like bullet speed of a piece of steel into his face as soon as he pushes a button. So and that's ridiculous and obvious to anyone except for the photographer and the model. And this is why you don't use stock photography. It's not just about soldering and drilling. It's for every profession. Like what's wrong here? Two things. One for 90% of points and one for the full points. One is easy, one is harder. Probably harder to see as well.
Yeah, anybody with medical education? I think you should just tell it.
Yeah, so first of all, he is listening to the dog's shoulder blade. And typically you don't listen to the dog's shoulder blade. This is not the point on a dog where you listen for anything. That's one. And two, if you look really closely, then that thing is not even plugged in. So it's just on his neck. Again, you buy this, you put it into a course, you get feedback from a client, and then depending on at which point in the relationship with them you are, like it might get ugly, or you might just have a little bit of fun and look for a better picture. Right. So and there's a hashtag like awful stock photography of like bad stock images of my job. That's the hashtag. You can look for that. Like people share these images from their jobs, anything,
tons of
scientists,
images,
medical professionals, stuff like that. Right. So to finalize a couple of things, kind of tips when you go to your marketing department, other than the range of situations and characters, emotions that you want to get. There's a few things in working with them. First of all, like we said, talk to them as early as possible, right? Or teach them to talk to you as early as possible as well. Because sometimes, I think you gave me this example yesterday where you come up with an idea for, let's say, a cartoon explanation for some certain situations, and you thought that would be fun and very modern. You saw somebody doing that in a conference or something. You come to them, you sit with them for 15 minutes, and you understand that there is absolutely no way that you can do cartoons that will fit the branding guidelines. And yes, the branding guidelines are new, so we're not prepared to kind of let them go. That whole idea is scrapped. Better find that out in 15 minutes rather than
before you pay for these cartoons.
Or after.
Yeah, or after, yeah.
Yes. Then, of course, if you go to your marketing department, you want to bring something to them. Frankly, there isn't much, except you're bringing them like more work. And sometimes you can bring them a little bit of budget. You can share some stuff, but their budgets are typically way bigger anyhow. But one example that we had was when a client created a new brand system.
Yeah.
A set of icons, rules for images, ways to place text on images and stuff like that. Color coding, set of colors that you can use, and so on. I think the first big project that was done using that new system was an e-learning project. And we had a ton of feedback. Part of that was typically for e-learning that, hey, we have this range of needs that you didn't cover. But part of that was like suggestions that actually were implemented, and they began, they kind of evolved into a relationship with the branding managers to a point where when they change something on the brand, because things get added or improved, they actually email us and say, hey, we've changed a few things in the brand, you want to take a look at that? Or they even consult with us, or maybe once. Yes, then what marketing are good at are at marketing. So you can talk to them about launch campaigns, right? If you build a course, you want to launch it, you want to talk to people about that new course and why they need it, and you want to build awareness and stuff, you can collaborate with marketing on that. So that's something you can get from them other than stock photography or something. You can also share vendors. It's amazing how in some companies where let's say HR and learning development and marketing are literally on the same floor, they use two completely different sets of people for building anything web-based or building or like making videos
or photos or audio files.
Voiceover recordings, stuff like that. So you can collaborate, and maybe your voiceover needs might be covered by them almost for free, simply because they're doing so much of that, stuff like that. Yes, and then the most useful tip is grab their money. They have like a 10x budget compared to yours. So here's a couple of ideas on how you can get in on that. So to grab their money, first of all, you can look for, like Google, what's advertising and infotainment, and look for ideas. That's probably a whole topic for breakfast. The ideas on how you can teach people not to train them something, but to actually sell them an idea, like showcase a product or stuff like that. Tell them something interesting while showing them something about your company and so on. And you are better at producing that than marketing oftentimes. You can also talk to them, hey, do you have like customers? Can we train the customers, right? So can we create a training course for people on how to use, this new service, not internally, but externally, and slip it under the marketing budget, not the training budget. While we're doing that, we'll do an internal training as well on that same budget. Same for partners, right? Again, talking about logos and stuff, if your company is like a household name, then a lot of people use their branding guidelines here and there. You can say, hey, do you want to try to work with us and fix that problem of people plastering logo in wrong ways? Can we work on that, for example? You can also, depends on your company, but internal communication sometimes falls into the lap of training and development and HR, and sometimes into the marketing. So you can work together on that. And if they're doing like an internal campaign for a new brand or a new direction, or there has been a huge merger or something like that, you can also kind of work with them by providing them the training service, the content building service that you're good at. And then you can actually sell adverts to them. One is if marketing have something to say to people internally, and I wanted to put the screenshot here, but so if you Google your favorite bank, we have two favorite banks, Luminor and Swedbank. Yeah. If you look at them, then you'll find that they have like 300 subscribers on their YouTube channel. A bank which has like maybe 1,000 employees in Latvia has like 300 subscribers and a million customers, 300 subscribers on the YouTube channel. And Swedbank in Sweden has like 40,000 employees, and they have like 4,000 subscribers on their channels, and they also have like 10 million customers.
And marketing department is being measured by how
typically
channels
you would expect that.
Work, what's the uptake, what's the traction. So you might sell them a couple of customers, internal customers.
Or if they're trying to push a certain idea, a new product or a new direction or a new value or a new brand. Again, LMS is your domain.
You have loyal customers who have no choice but to go there.
Yes.
They don't have anyone who has to go there and do something. So
absolutely. So and another example, which is a little bit out there, but I thought that would be cool. Frankly, I have not seen that, but I want to do that in one of the courses. So let's say if you have a video course and there's somebody teaching somebody, if you watch YouTube today, you will see how the YouTube presenter will stop and say, okay, this channel is supported by this company, and here's a little plug for 60 seconds. I will explain you how this specific VPN works and why it's beneficial to you. And then we'll go back to whatever great topic is. You can do same thing inside your courses. So let's say somebody is talking about, leading regulations for banking in South America, and then they stop and say, "Hey, I want to take a minute to explain that we internally have this support system where you can file your complaints about coffee not working and so on. It's being underutilized, so I urge you to go over there and use that." Okay, we're back to South America. Something like that. It might be funny, might be ridiculous. If your corporate culture permits that, that can be a bomb. I mean, like literally, just by being different, it will help the actual course as well, by generating rumor around that. So that's a few ideas for you. Hopefully that's inspiring for Friday. Hopefully you had your coffees. If you know someone who would be interested in that, send them to our YouTube channel. This thing will be there on Monday. And thanks, and have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend, and see you in a couple of weeks. We'll notify you about the next topic.
20th of May. Sounds plausible?
No, 28, I think.
27.
27, sorry,
We have a calendar out there. So probably 27th of May. If you have an idea in mind, send us a topic that you want us to talk about. Otherwise, we'll come up with something on our own, and you'll be sorry. Right.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Take care.
Bye-bye.